The International Customs Day 2019 was held in Colombo last evening.
The current account deficit, the only way we can get out of it is through export transformation, through increasing our exports. This year we're expected to pay about $5.9 billion US foreign debt. Now we've got plans to pay that, but essentially what we are doing is buying time. Foreigners must have enough confidence in us to lend us the money, to keep rolling over the debt, which is why things like the IMF program become very important, because that's a seal of good housekeeping, and without that it's very difficult to raise the money that we need.
Whilst imports have grown, customs revenue, particularly in the last period, hasn't grown at the same pace. I'd expect to at least see a 20% increase in customs revenue as a minimum target in 2019. This year, Sri Lanka has the highest ever debt payments. මම මේ කතාවට හරිම කැමති ඒක නම් අමතක කරන්නෙම නැහැ. දැන ගියොත් වත්තල නොදැන ගියොත් මත්තල. Actually, it's not about politics. It's about investments and it's about returns. When we make these decisions, there are always repercussions. What we cannot collect through tax revenue ends up adding to the country's debt burden. Because as you heard, the expenditure levels are reasonable, but it's the revenue levels that is a problem. And when you try to correct it, you have people saying, Kata kalot, badu, 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 badu.
With all due respect to the State Minister, revenue doesn't only derive from exports. If proper incentives are provided and properly managed, we will have the necessary revenue to meet any contingency. Additionally, the central bank bond scam, apart from being the largest financial fraud ever, has had a huge negative impact on the country's economy. The central bank went through a typical Western movie-style bust. In spite of Team Newsfirst pointing out the need for an inquiry, including a forensic audit on the second bond scam, the central bank has not yet presented a report. How do you then expect to boost investor confidence in the country? We must of course remind the general public of the overwhelmingly great effort made by the government to sign free trade agreements with or without the concurrence of the Attorney General's Department. It follows that FTAs that are ill thought out and poorly negotiated upon results in lower tax collection by the customs. There was a school of thought that greater imports would help increase revenue collection. However, this notion too has suffered thanks to the rising value of the dollar. And the answer lies right there, whether to drive towards Wattala or towards Mattala.